Hello everyone and welcome to AOB, the show where we take you behind the scenes of our £100 million property business. Each and every episode we ask for your feedback and for your suggestions. And thank you so much to everyone who responded last time around. And you can reach out to us via LinkedIn or Instagram. Our handles are in the show notes, do check that out. But the feedback was you wanted more practical advice. You wanted advice on how to do things in business. And what's the goal of nearly every business? Well, Rob, it's to grow.
Yes, it is. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that growth is the point of business. That doesn't mean that you have to become the next Amazon or whatever. But most businesses start with just you in your spare bedroom, maybe. I know ours definitely did. And at that point, you've just got yourself a really stressful and chaotic job. The only way to get out of that and experience the benefits of running a business is growth. And then once you've achieved that growth, then you've got the ability to see even more benefit from growth because you've got all the structure in place. So then you benefit from economies of scale. So with growth means a better lifestyle for you. It means more income for you. And it means a more valuable business to sell at the end. So growth really is the whole game. And in this episode, we're showing 5 business strategies to help you unlock that growth in your business.
So let's get straight into it. Let's start delivering the value. Number 1 on the list is hire people as soon as you can. Not when it feels really comfortable, because it's probably too late, as soon as you can. Let me tell you a story. When we started to get traction in the business, this was before even Property Hub existed. It was Property Hub Invest back then. I could tell there was demand. And I was speaking to every single investor by myself. So Property Hub Invest is a business that connects high net worth individuals, basically people with money, to developers. And we get those individuals a brilliant deal because we do those deals in bulk. Now, bulk is the word. So I was speaking to lots of investors while trying to keep the relationships warm with the developers. There was a lot going on. And I was starting to have success. So what did I do? Did I start to enjoy the profits? No. What I did is put enough aside to hire. And the first hire I made was a salesperson. I'm actually telling fibs because I went beyond hiring a salesperson. I actually put enough aside to hire 3 salespeople and have the wages put aside for 3 months for each of them. And that's all I did. I didn't have any more runway than that because I was convinced that the demand was there because I was just overwhelmed. That moment was one of the biggest unlocks of growth in the history of the company because suddenly the sales went through the roof. It makes sense, right? There was demand, you'd hire people in and suddenly there was more business to be done. But so many business owners are fearful of hiring. They wait until they've got huge amounts of cash before they even contemplate a hire. But I'd actually put it to you, dear listener, if you have a business or want to have a business, you should be looking to hire as soon as you can. And Rob, you don't have to go as big and bold as I just did. That probably would frighten some people who are starting out. There are ways you can bridge to what I've done. You don't have to go massive straight away, but a hire of some sort can be a massive growth unlock.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the reason that people wait too long is that it does sound really scary. Hiring someone, like if you've just recently come out of being an employee and you're talking about hiring someone and you don't know how to do that. You don't know how to manage them. You don't really know what the whole thing's about. It does sound intimidating. But like you said, you don't have to go from 0 to 3 like you did. You can go from 0 to half. You can get someone part-time. You can work with a contractor. So you're just paying them for their services. There's no employer-employee relationship. You can just break off individual tasks and pass them off to multiple people. So there's less pressure. There's lots of different ways of cracking it. But however you crack it, I think it's worth acknowledging that you will get loads wrong at this stage. But none of those 3 people are still at the company, are they, Rob? And that's partially because it was a long time ago, but also partially because when you start, you don't know how to hire the right people. You don't know how to lead and manage those people. Those are skills that you can only really develop by doing it.
But those mistakes, those lessons are so valuable. So don't be fearful of the mistakes. Make them, because then you'll learn. I learned with those first hires about core values, what that meant. And that then made me go and learn about core values, what mine actually were, and what I wanted to hire for moving forward. That was a key learning moment in the business because, yes, these people could sell, and it wasn't that they were bad people, it's just different values to my own. And that in business is a recipe for disaster. And on hiring, actually, we have a really exciting role for our sourcing team. So check out propertyhub.net/jobs if you want to be part of the team that sources over £100 million worth of property every single year. Go to propertyhub.net/jobs to check that out. Number 2 in the list is reinvest your profits. Your business isn't a cash machine. Rob, something we have done religiously, and this has been from day dot in the business, it's always been treated this way, is the business is its own entity. We are paid by that business. The profits are not our cash pot to play with. The profits are the business's profits, and we get paid a salary. And if we're super, super lucky, we might get a dividend. But that's how it should be, because if you want to grow a business and not be self-employed, that's the mindset you need to have.
Yep, and I'm not expecting anyone to get their violins out, but those salaries are relatively modest. For the majority of the time, I think it's fair to say over the history of the business, we have not been the best paid people within the business. There have been several times, reasonably extended periods, when we haven't got paid at all. Because as the leaders, you get paid last. You only get paid if there's money left over. And that is how it should be, because making a profit and reinvesting that profit is the only way you can grow. And that reinvestment can be in people, like we talked about. It could be in stock, depending on the business. It could be in marketing. It could be in lots of different things. But you need to give the business the fuel to grow. I know a fair number of business owners whose business might be making sort of like £150,000 a year, and they are taking every penny of that out of the business for themselves. So they're getting paid a nice amount. They have a good lifestyle. But their business is never going to grow, because how can it? It's being starved of the oxygen it needs to grow, and the oxygen of business is cash. So I completely agree with your point, Rob. It's a really important mindset shift. Your business is not there for you to take out as much as you can. It's kind of for you to take out as little as you can. So the business has what it needs to grow.
That's it. And you reinvest those profits. That's the key point. You don't just leave it in a bank account in the business and go, oh, look, I've got lots in there. That makes me feel good. No, it's not for that either. It's to reinvest those profits to make your business bigger. Third on our list is have big goals. So set those big goals. Think big. Go massive with your goals. Make it so you can roughly see a path to that goal if you squint at it. If it's so ludicrous that you don't have any idea how you could get there, then it's possibly too big. But if you have a way, it may not be a clear path, but a way, an idea of how you can get to that big goal, whether it's a 12-month goal or a 5-year goal, if you set that big goal, it'll start to make you think differently. It will unlock a growth mindset. It will make you think about hires. It will make you think about other growth initiatives. It will make you think like a big business owner. Now, once you have those big goals or that big goal, and less is more when it comes to goals, because then that creates focus. But when you have it, then, like I've said, you need to have a reasonable idea of how you're going to get there. And Rob, that leads to number 4 in our list.
Yeah, that is creating a plan to hit that goal. And that plan doesn't have to be a business plan, tens of pages nicely bound, the kind of thing you could take to the bank to get funding. It can be as simple as, here's 3 bullet points for what we're going to focus on for the next 6 months. But you do need to have a plan. You need to create the time and space to go through that planning. A journey that you go on as your business grows is that you spend less and less of your time actually doing the everyday work of the business. You become more disconnected from the detail. Your job becomes basically setting goals, then putting a plan into place to achieve them, and then leading and guiding everyone else along that path. So we now have an annual planning process, and then we also have a half-year review, so we can check in at the midpoint and see, is this plan working? Is there anything we need to change? Has the world or the business changed in ways we hadn't expected since we did this plan? But even before you've got a largish team like we do, creating the space to do that planning is critical, which again comes back to hiring, making sure you're not so trapped in the day-to-day on the hamster wheel of delivering whatever it is that you do, that you just don't have any headspace for planning. And so, Rob, it's really making that transition from employee to true business owner.
Number 5 on our list is experiment until you find something that works, and then do that thing as much as possible. I'm going to give you 2 examples of this. One near the beginning of the business and one very recent example. I'll let you give that one, Rob. Near the start of the business, I was trying different things to get the ball rolling. I was hammering the phone. I was buying lists of people who may be interested in property. I even purchased leads that mortgage brokers would buy for people interested in a buy-to-let mortgage to see if they would be interested in our services. I tried lots of different things. And then I started to post on forums and put some blogs out there, and that gave me some minor traction. That was good, and I'm starting to make some sales. But I kept on trying different things, and then I tried a podcast. You may have heard of it. It's called The Property Podcast. Luckily, I found my now good friend Rob D suggested that we do this thing together. Lo and behold, over 10 years later, he's had the patience to put up with me. The podcast blew up almost from day one, and that's incredible. But I promise you, it wasn't just, I tried that one thing and then it all clicked in. Wow, lots of luck. I tried lots of different things, kept plugging away. That one worked. Didn't just part do it once it worked. As you've probably heard, we put a lot of effort into that podcast, even from day one. As soon as I realised it had traction, I went big on it and gave it lots of time and attention because I realised how valuable it was. But that didn't stop. We've continued to try different things. Some have worked, some have failed. So that's an example of the early days of something that happened that worked. But Rob, even more recently, in the last year or two, we've kept trying different things and we've unlocked another growth strategy recently.
That's right. The podcast had been really good to us, but we wanted more growth. We wanted to go beyond what we could do with the podcast on its own. So we've tried all manner of different things. And a couple of years ago, I took on as a little project, starting to do more on YouTube. And at the start, it was just me, doing pretty much everything myself and then passing it over to someone on our team who was doing it as part of their job to do the editing. But we started to see some success. And importantly, that's not success in terms of views or nice comments. Still don't get many of those. But we do success in terms of people coming through to the business. We were seeing business results. So when something works, do more of it. At the start of this year, we hired an agency to allow us to do more videos and to do far better videos and have a far more polished production. That was a big investment that it didn't make sense to make at the start because we had no idea if it was going to work. But once we'd seen that it was working, it's like, great, let's do more of this. And at that point, we made the investment. Most things that you try won't work. That's normal. The key is to try as many things as you can as quickly as you can. Don't spend 6 months trying to figure out how to roll something out. Just do it. Do it well, but do it quickly and watch for those early signs of traction. If it's just absolutely flat, it's going nowhere, be quick to kill it off. But if you are starting to see those early signs, that's when you do as much of that thing as you can possibly do until you've maxed it out.
So there you have it. 5 ways to unlock growth in your business. But this isn't theory. This isn't something we've read in a book. This is something we've learned through putting the effort in. So these truly are real lessons. What are the real lessons would you like from us? Remember, give us that feedback. Our social links are in the show notes. And remember, we're hiring. Go to propertyhub.net/jobs. That's propertyhub.net/jobs, where you can find out about that exciting role for our sourcing team. And there's other roles live as well, so do check those out. We'll have another AOB for you next month. And of course, we've got loads of podcasts on property, but in between then. So until then, take care, have fun, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.